Greetings, comrades, and hello, everybody. I'm Quint866, and I'll be talking about two of my favorite things. One, my favorite movie types, sci-fi, horror. Okay, that obviously goes to Aliens, the franchise with the xenomorphs, facehuggers, chestbursters, etc. And my other favorite is a genre of video game. Anybody put your bets on retro? Because if you did, it's pinball. Gotcha. Now, there's plenty of popular pinball companies. Bally, Stern, Williams, Gottlieb, and even a couple of newer ones like Jersey Jack. But I gotta admit, people, the one pinball company I think gets the best vote for not being one that makes actual machines but digital pinball goes to Zen Pinball. Sure, I prefer Pinball Arcade in terms of emulation or simulation, but when it comes to legitimate tables like that are digital, Zen Pinball gets my vote for being the best table. Well, company, that is, not like table, because, they have multiple tables on that game. But one of the tables I extremely liked and was really good at was the Aliens pinball table. Not because I was, naturally good at it, but because I got really good at it with my skill. And another thing that was good about it was that this is the only table I've actually beaten Wizard Mode on. Yes, I'm not joking, I beat the Alien Queen on this table after 2 years of practicing and learning tactics, shots, tricks, tips, etc. And I did all of this by myself. I had no websites used. I'd only merely just came up when I'm completely blind, and then developed a strategy that perfectly worked. It doesn't work every time, I'll admit, but it still is good. And Aliens Pinball is one of the few really good examples of an Aliens game done right. I mean, sure, Alien Isolation's an honorable mention, sure, but the problem is that that game didn't really copy or do anything the movies did. Like, this is the most accurate recreation of Aliens movie in a game format, which is really good because I think it does it to its advantage. And not only that, but it has every scene playable as a mission, which is quite nice. Now, it wasn't until just recently I'd realized how great of a villain the villain human, not the alien queen, not the aliens, not the facehuggers, not the chestbursters, but the human villain, who I'm not going to say his name quite yet, was so great in the Aliens movie that I gotta admit, people, he's one of my favorite villains of all time. Not only because he was a legitimate villain, and he wasn't like a, oh, my father got killed, so now I'm gonna unleash my wrath on the world. But his motive was very relatable. It was very, very relatable. It's what made him a great villain is because he was relatable. And of all people, I did not want to believe the villain of all people was going to be Burke. I found it so hard to believe Burke was the villain because of how nicely he treated Ripley in the beginning. And I found him a relatable villain not only because he wanted to unleash the facehuggers for military research weapons purposes, but he had no other way of doing it to get it past quarantine, and that's a relatable motive is for financial troubles, as well as doing it for the better of all, even if that means protecting others by sacrificing others. In the process, that is. Anyways, as Ripley and Newt try to stealthily stall for time, As the Marines are unaware that they need a rescue from Burke's evil facehugger attack plot, Ripley valiantly tries to break the glass that is soundproof, but to no avail, as the facehuggers search the room for their two victims. Then, almost when all hope was seemed to be lost, Ripley looks around and orders Newt to stay at her current position. As Ripley walks over to the fire alarm and pulls out her lighter, she then triggers the fire alarm so they can be rescued by the Marines and bring Burke to justice. The Marines rush over to the med lab where Ripley and Newt are being ambushed, and they load their weapons, being prepared for a fight. Ripley informs Newt that it will be okay and the Marines are coming to save them. However, as the Marines are on their way, the facehuggers find their prey and start to attack and strike at Ripley and Newt. As Ripley attempts to get away from the pursuing facehugger, she tries and tries to get away from it, but the facehugger strangles it with her own tail. And then, as Ripley tries to pry away the facehugger, Newt screams for help, trying to get some attention from the Marines, but she's near a facehugger as well. Then, Hudson, one of the Marines, shoots the glass to crack it, and Hicks shoulder slams right through the shattered hole in the glass. Hudson goes over to Newt and gets Newt to safety, as well as killing one of the facehuggers that was near Newt. And then, Hicks and Vasquez go over to Ripley on the verge of losing her stamina and try and kill the next facehugger, but it seems hopeless yet again. But then, they decide to take the facehugger. As it tries to keep its grip on Ripley, the Marines take the facehugger, and then they throw it away. And then they finally, after throwing it into the corner, they destroy it. As Ripley gasps for air and Newt comes over to make sure she's okay. Ripley says, gasping for breath, "The deed was done by Burke." Now that scene was one of my favorite scenes in the entire legacy of the Aliens franchise. Not only because it was very tense, it was a good, scary scene for the horror theme, but I liked it because it was an interesting scene, and what's sad about it is that the pinball table is one of the few moments that actually did this scene in the game. Like, they did it, not like, sure, there's other, games that might have done the scene, but this is one of the few examples of that scene with Burke's ulterior motives in the facehugger attack in the med lab done right. And that's why I think Aliens Pinball is probably the best recreation of the Aliens movie in a game format, is because it did everything that the movie did, and it followed the movie a lot better. Anyways, I'm Quint866, and have a good one.